Hey, Seaver, congrats. Welcome. Can you just kind of tell me what your emotions were when you found out the Nationals were taking you?
Yeah, they were really never on the radar. And then my agent called me probably 10 minutes before the draft and said, "This is the deal that's in place as of now, and you're probably gonna be a national, but don't get too married to it." And I was expecting a call 30 seconds before or whatever. I don't even know. I'd never been through this stuff, so I had no idea what to expect. So I sat my family down, everybody together, and honestly, wasn't expecting to go, and ended up going, and it just kind of hit me, and still hit me right now, and just an overwhelming moment. And just having all my best friends and family here just kind of made it easy. And I'm just super excited to get to work and be a national.
Obviously, you're one of three guys from your college who went in the first 10 picks. For you, how cool was that, and to join that group and have that happen?
Yeah, I knew I was going to be the third guy, but I knew I was going to be hopefully 12 to 24 was kind of what my radar was. And I didn't really, the last thing me and those guys want to talk about was baseball. So me and Kurtz were playing Call of Duty all the time and not worrying about a care in the world. And when Burns went number two, it was awesome. And then Kurtz at four, right in behind it, it was super surreal. And at that point, I knew like my moment was the next moment. And I didn't have to worry about those guys, and they were all set up, and it was a good moment for them. So it was actually at that point I kind of got where my feet were and enjoyed the moment, and just kind of let it all hit me and enjoy it.
Just Camarado, MLB.com.
Hey, congrats and welcome to the Nats organization. You play several positions. How would you describe yourself defensively as a baseball player? Where are you most comfortable? Where do you want to thrive?
Yeah, I think shortstop is where I feel the most comfortable, and it's where I played kind of my whole life. But I think the part of my game is I can play anywhere, and my ultimate goal is winning. And if that's me playing, if that's me catching, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to become the best catcher, even though that's probably not in the cards. But I just want to win. But if you're asking me where I feel the most comfortable, where I can improve the most, it'd be at shortstop, and that's kind of where I want to be.
And then if someone were to say to you, who are you as a baseball player? How would you describe how you play? How would you describe yourself?
Yeah, I think I'm one of the unique guys. I definitely play with a lot of passion. Always have a smile on my face. Always want to see my teammates succeed, and I think that's all of a testament to Wingate and Wake Forest, and what they instilled in me and how they made me the person I am today, and how I haven't changed for anybody and for anyone. So I think I take pride in that, and figure out like I'm Seaver King. I'm not going to change it for anybody. I'm going to keep playing my game.
Andrew Golden, Washington Post.
Hey, Seaver, congrats. I saw you obviously started your career at Wingate and then transferred to Wake Forest. Can you take us through a little bit your journey of how you got to Wingate and then why Wake Forest and just your process there?
Yeah, I think that's why the moment was so overwhelming. I had my best friends from Wingate there, and that was my only offer out of high school. And Coach Gregory took a chance on me and let me play my freshman year and kind of prove myself, and then kind of gave me the reins my sophomore year, which was kind of crazy. And then that tough conversation of, hey, I want to take it to the next level. And then Wake Forest kind of helped me in open arms. And Coach Walter was my first call after I got drafted, and he was just so proud of me. And seeing those guys go before me and all the work we've put in and all the effort we put in, even our season didn't go the way we wanted to. Ultimately, like, we develop as people and players. And it's honestly my journey. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I didn't want to go D1 out of high school if that was an option. Like, looking back at it, it would have been rough. So I'm just super thankful of kind of my journey and where I came from, and where I'm willing to go.
At what point, like, do you think to yourself, like, when you were at Wingate, did you ever think to yourself, I'll be in the big leagues? Like, at what point did you kind of think like, wow, like, this is really a possibility for you?
Yeah, I think going into Wingate, I knew I was going to play 4 years and get a 95 and kind of be a normal human. And then, after my freshman year, I had a good year, and kind of knew that maybe Division I baseball was going to be the end for me, and maybe I can go pursue that. And then I played in the Cape with Team USA, and that's kind of where it became real for me. And then after that, kind of getting to know those guys, telling my story, and actually prove to myself on the field that I belong was kind of when it clicked. And coming here today, if you would have told me yesterday I would have been a top 10 pick, I wouldn't have believed you. And it's the reality today. So I'm just super thankful for the opportunity. I'm ready to work.
Spencer Nussbaum from Washington Post.
Hey, Seaver, congrats. When you talk about your work ethic, obviously making the jump from D2 to D1, is there someone, whether a family member, a little league coach, is there someone that comes to mind for you that say, okay, I based my work ethic and who I am based off this person?
Yeah, I think my high school coach, Alan Osborne, I wasn't the biggest guy my freshman year. I shouldn't have played, but he played me every single game. And I kind of learned that I had to work to become the best player I wanted to be. That I know I was going to be a top 10 pick? No. But I knew baseball was a game I loved, and I was going to play it as long as possible. And the dream continues, and I get to play it. Whoever knows how long. But yeah, the ultimate goal for me is just to have fun, and me having fun is getting better every day and becoming the player that God wants me to be, and whatever that is, whatever it's going to be, and it's out of my hands. I kind of control what I can control, and kind of let God take the hands from there.
And I know you said you didn't know that you were going to be a national until, right before the draft. I'm curious, what was your impression of the Nationals leading up to the draft and just your conversation with them, what you know about the organization, things like that?
Yeah, funny enough, growing up, I played with Brady House a lot, and I was at his draft party my senior year of high school and saw him get picked by them. And then coming up to here, it was Nationals at 10. I went to the combine, and I thought I really liked my conversations with them there, and I still heard 12 to 24 was kind of my range. And when Joey called me and said it was going to be the Nationals, I was super ecstatic, and just kind of getting to reconvene and maybe play with him again one day is going to be super awesome, and something I'm looking forward to.
Mark Zuckerman.
So obviously, Brady House. How cool is that then? And what did you think of him as a player back then? And what do you think he can be now?
Yeah. Growing up, he was always the best player on the field, physically, mentally, all the above. And just he's just a humble human being. He's not really all out there with all this stuff. And, you don't really hear about him. And he's getting called up every, other week and kind of doing his thing. But yeah, I'm just so happy for him, and just kind of being able to play together growing up, and now maybe being able to play together as professionals is going to be something super, super real and super cool. Our parents are still close, and I'm assuming they probably talk to Michael and Dana right now and talk to them. And I'm sure I'll probably call Brady here in the next day or two, just kind of share the moment with them. But it's definitely super surreal and something I'll never change.
47 game hitting streak.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't, whatever level you're at, that's a really hard thing to do. What is it about your offensive approach that you think allows you to have that kind of consistency day in and day out to do something like that?
Yeah, I think from now, or from when I was a kid to now, I had to separate myself, and I was gonna be the scrappy guy who wasn't afraid to get into two strikes, wasn't gonna be afraid to swing early. And I don't average the most pitches in my at bat, and I'm okay with that. And that's just a glaring place I can improve on, and it's something that I take super serious, and it's got me this far. And obviously, if I want to be the best player I can be, I have to work on it. But at this point, I'm so comfortable with swinging and being in two strikes and being able to, control that part of the game. It just kind of helps me. And I think, whenever the game speeds up, I've done it at the highest level and done it at the least, development and training, and just kind of let, me kind of go out. So yeah, it's definitely something I'm definitely willing to work on and excited to work on with the professional team and the Nationals. But it's just kind of what has made me me, and kind of what separates me for some people.
David Aldridge, The Athletic.
Hey, Seaver, welcome to DC, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You're on the Nats are kind of nearing the end point of their rebuild in terms of the young players they're bringing in, and they've got some of them are already up here and some of them are close. I just wonder what did you take from playing on a team at Wake, which also had young guys that were destined to be first-round draft picks that had high expectations, that you think you can carry when you get to Washington and play on another team with a bunch of young players with high expectations?
Yeah, I think if you surround yourself with the right people, you as a person is going to grow, and as a player, and just being around those guys who weren't satisfied with being okay, weren't satisfied with being, the number one ranked team preseason, having not seen us play. It was just constant work and constant willing to get better. And it didn't have anything to do with what anybody else thought of us. It was kind of what we thought of each other and what we knew we could be. So I think just being around all the young guys who are hungry and ready to, break the big leagues or whatever it may be, I think is going to be a big thing for me. Just kind of being in a farm system that values that and has that at the forefront.
Thank you.
Just Camerado.
You mentioned you're friends with Brady House. Now, you didn't have to be at their draft parties, but I'm wondering if you knew anybody else on the Nats before coming here.
No, that was the only big guy. Like I said, I grew up playing, high level baseball, and then, everybody growing at 14 and being 6'2" never really happened to me, and didn't happen until my senior year. So, yeah, at that point, I mean, me and him grew up together and played together. But other than that, there hasn't been really anybody. And, now hopefully I'll get to see, maybe some of my teammates get picked later in the draft. And that's something I'm really excited to see, is just kind of how the rest of the draft plays out. And I've grown relationships with many people across many leagues and all those things. So I'm just excited to see who else comes to the team and ready to work.
You mentioned when this call started that it hadn't hit you yet and that you were overwhelmed by being picked at this spot. Why was it overwhelming for you?
Yeah, I think, like I said, like if you would have asked me 2 days ago or 3 years ago if I would have been in the draft period, I would have said probably not, and let alone be a top 10 pick and be in an organization that values, youth development as much as they do. So I think it's just surreal, the fact that I wouldn't have had any other way. I'm glad I didn't really know it was going to happen, because, it's just kind of better that way. So I'm just super thankful for the opportunity, and the Nationals, taking a risk on me, and they won't regret it for sure.
Are you letting people know if they're at your draft party that maybe they can end up being drafted somewhere down the road too?
No, like I said, like I wouldn't want anybody texting me or getting involved in my stuff. So I'm going to let them kind of do their thing. When Chase and Nick got drafted, I shot my congratulations to them. And obviously, we got guys here from Wake kind of getting our reactions. So seeing Nick and Chase getting popped, it was super surreal, and it's super happy for them. And, Josh is the next guy, and then Mike's the next guy behind them. And then hopefully, Adam and Cole and all those guys backing behind them are going to get a shot as well.
Spencer?
Yeah, you told us a little bit about your two-strike approach and your bat-to-ball skills. I'm curious, can you just walk us through a little bit your development trajectory in that path, and how it became such a strength for you?
Yeah, I think the development piece is something that is nowhere near the roof. I think I've always been show up to the ballpark and play, never really had a preparation. And I think Wake Forest kind of drove that into me and kind of made me build a routine and things like that. So I think that's the greatest room for improvement, is kind of my overall part of the game. I think I'm the rawest player and the guy who has the highest ceiling in the draft. And I kind of take pride in that, and I'm willing to work and become the best player possible.
Andrew, last one.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about your you mentioned the two strike approach. Is that something that is developed, or is that something that somebody naturally has? Like how does that come to be? Is that something you've always had, or is it something that kind of you get to learn over time?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, my two strike swing has always been different, and honestly, it was always better than my A swing, I like to call it, when I'm ahead in the count. So it's always something I've trusted. But however, it hasn't had the most power success. So that's something that I really tapped into this year at Wake, and saw the power numbers jump in two strikes, and maybe the strikeouts went up a little bit, but the walks went up as well. So I think, just the constant trajectory, I've seen improvements in every aspect of my game, and it hasn't been a lot of development. It's kind of been, you're going to play center field this day, you're going to play third base this day, blah, 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 blah. And it's just been something that I've had to get used to. But I think, being able to work with, the high level coaches and the high level players every single day is going to be, really good for me.
All right, Seaver, thank you very much for coming on. Congratulations. Great day.
Yes, sir.
Everyone else will talk to you at the end of the night. All right, thanks, Seaver. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys.